Good afternoon. My name is Zaira Diaz. I'm a second grade teacher at Scobie Elementary, and I'm a part of this wonderful NISD family. I hope my talk tonight can inspire many of you. As educators, we strive to have a class that's motivated to learn, displays excellent behavior, and reaches academic success. In doing so, we spend countless hours planning the perfect lesson to engage our students. We attend many training sessions, hoping to find the right tool to achieve academic success. We spend hours doing research and many sleepless hours trying to find ways to help our students, let alone the 20 pounds that we gain towards the end of each year due to stress eating after it all fails or we get very little results. So what is the best indicator of academic achievement? Is it IQ? Is it socioeconomic status? Is it the hours we spend on training and planning? Is it the rating of excellence of the school a child attends? Or is it parent engagement in their children's education? In 2002, the Educational Office of Research and Improvement of the U.S. Department of Education posted the results of a study on parent engagement and student achievement. They called it a new wave of evidence. Researchers found that teachers that do parents' outreach of students, regardless of their income or family background, was related to improved achievement in reading and math. In schools with high parent outreach, test scores improved at a rate of 40% higher than in schools where teachers reported low levels of outreach. It is so important, and besides all these findings, we can testify the truth, for we see it in our classrooms every day. The majority of our successful students receive an incredible support from their families. These are the parents that we often see reaching out to us in ways to help their children succeed. Now, what about the parents that lack involvement? Who is responsible to create this parent-teacher partnership? Some might argue it's the parent and student's responsibility to do the homework and learn the content. And yes, I agree, as teachers, we have to ensure our students are learning. But aren't we responsible to find support for these students? Unfortunately, we often reach out to internal support, overlooking the most important tool, parent engagement. Now, according to Westford, an organization that works to combine parent engagement and student achievement, believes that parent engagement and parent involvement is not the same thing. The latest is when parents participate in school activities. On the other hand, parent involvement is when there's a partnership created with the teacher and we both exchange information about that student, making the parent a part of our daily instruction. Here we share a sense of responsibility to help that child meet educational goals. 5 years ago, when I moved to a different state, I was offered a position as a bilingual pre-K teacher. I was apprehensive about accepting the job since I had no experience working with kids at that stage. Because school had already started, I was afraid of risking the possibility of staying without a job. So I accepted the position, and I remember going home telling my husband, well, I guess I'll be babysitting this year. I mean, really, how hard can it be to teach pre-kindergartners? After all, I love kids. I have 2 of my own, and I still remember when they were at that stage. I got this. The bad side of this was that Meet the Teacher was in 2 days. I had a classroom with empty walls, very few things in it, and the principal hands me a roster of 37 students that were going to be divided between morning and afternoon. So I did what I thought any good teacher would do. I went home, read the texts, and learned as much as I could. But deep inside, I knew I was not ready to face these parents. When Meet the Teacher came, and I saw the stampede of adults and children going into my classroom, I panicked. But then again, it made sense. It's their baby's first year in school, and the families, the extended families, the neighbors, they all want to meet the experienced teacher and see the beautiful classroom their children will be spending part of the day in. As they were entering the classroom, I saw the disappointment in their faces. I did not have an appealing classroom for pre-kindergartners. Parents were frustrated. They bombarded me with many questions I did not have answers to. Some of them even left as I was still talking. The night did not end well. I had let these parents down. I was frustrated, embarrassed, and I felt incompetent as a teacher. What I thought was going to be a fun babysitting job had turned into the most complicated nightmare I've ever had. So I had two choices. I either quit and run away, or turn this whole thing around and prove to these parents that it was going to be a year full of engagement and learning. As time went on, I was not getting the support from these families I expected. Students were not learning as expected, and I took the blame for it. So one day, I came up with this bright idea of having the students and parents take the class together and engage in all the activities I had planned for that given day. The difficult part was convincing the principal after the outcome on Meet the Teacher Day. So the plan went on, and we called it a day in pre-K. And this time, I was ready. Parents danced, they sang, they laughed, they did rotations through stations with their kids. It was magical. Almost instantly, I had parents wanting to be engaged and signed up for voluntary tutoring during school hours. 5 years later, some of those parents still remember that day as an eye-opener on the importance of their presence in their children's education. Larry Ferlazzo, he's an author, and he's a researcher in education, said, "A school that strives for parent involvement leads with its mouth by telling the parents how to contribute. On the other hand, a school that strives for parent engagement leads with its ears by listening to their goals, dreams, and concerns." See, there's this stigma and fear about being criticized that has made many teachers detached from parents. Some teachers want to go on lockdown when they see parents coming around. As educators, we have the knowledge and responsibility to help engage parents in their children's education. In doing so, we must work with love, respect, dignity, and patience. I once had a colleague that came to school every day as if she was ready for a war. One day she said to me, "I tell my parents they have to be involved and they have to communicate with me. Otherwise, their children are going to suffer the consequences and I won't be the one to blame for it. But if they don't care, why should I?" I looked at her and said, "Would you rather have a relationship with a wild hyena or with a gentle kitten?" And that was the last time she talked to me about the subject. See, being an educator is one of the professions where you come in contact with so many lives throughout the years. For every child you teach, there are at least 4 family members you can influence. Multiply that times 24, and you have a total of 96 people in 1 year. By the time we retire, we have had the opportunity to influence a few thousand people within that one given community. We have so much power to change the world, and yet we often feel so powerless. In 2006, research showed a decline in parent engagement. Parents can now view their children's grades in portals, and teachers prefer the method of emails for communication. See, it went from teachers doing home visits to only one required parent-teacher conference per year. There is so much information about a child that parents and teachers won't know unless there is an honest relationship established. Information that can help that child emotionally in the classroom engaged in learning goals. We are not educators by coincidence. It takes hard work to be a teacher. If we are still educators, it's because there's still fire burning in our hearts, committed to education. We cannot let that fire die. We are one of the few professions where we can make a difference in children, families, and communities, and that is powerful. Let's ignite that fire within, because we know Nelson Mandela was not wrong when he said, education is the most powerful weapon in which you can use to change the world. Thank you.